Let's try it.
Lay down.
All right, y'all gotta go somewhere, dogs. This is why I can't live stream during the day right here.
Lay down. Lay down.
This is why. Move this light. Put this light out of the way. It's gonna be better or not. All right, let's throw some little bit of glue on here. Yep. Hit it with the ultraviolet light to dry that glue real quick. Well, that's cool, man. Yeah, I'm close to 3,300 subscribers now. For some reason, when I've been time flies, it's been kind of boosting my YouTube channel for some reason. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna tie a fly that I came up with. I call it the Fraggle Rock, and you'll kind of see why, because it looks kind of crazy, but it works. If you check out my YouTube channel, one of my recent videos has this fly, and it shows a big giant redfish being caught with it. All right, y'all. So we're gonna take some deer tail right here, and take a chunk of this white deer tail. Cut off a chunk of white deer tail. I'm just going to pull any loose strands, which I don't think there's going to be many. Put that right here. Set on the fly and start wrapping it. Just like that. Oh, it's Stratacash. Oh, okay. I got you, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I still do a little bit of my buddy Josh still, in fact, I'm sure y'all talk to him all the time. So now he he actually works for RBI, but he still has a tech company on the side that I still help him do some stuff, but I mostly fish. I try to fish more than anything. So, all right, y'all, we're gonna add some shrimp eyes to the fly. So what I do, actually, I forgot to add my little black stripes. So we're gonna grab a black Sharpie. We're gonna hold the fish tail. I mean the fish tail. We're gonna hold the tail out like this right here, and we're gonna put some black stripes on it, y'all. Yeah, the only thing I've done lately as far as technology work is I went and did a couple of saw cuts and then installed some loop detectors and some little basic service calls. I haven't done a lot of technology work lately. I've been mostly fishing. All right, y'all, so I put some black stripes along the tail right here. I'm gonna flip this over and grab these little shrimp eyes like this right here and just put them. So basically, you take these, as you can see, they got a V in them, and I'm just gonna split the hook right here with them. So just turn the fly over. I'm just gonna split the hook with the shrimp eyes. Yeah, I stay decently busy down here fishing, so that's the reason I don't do as much technology work as I used to do. All right, so we put some shrimp eyes on our fly right here, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some solar res glue. This glue dries with ultraviolet light. We're just going to put the glue over the thread right here where I put those shrimp eyes on there. I just don't want them coming undone when you start catching fish. And I'm going to hit them with a ultraviolet light right here. We're tying flies, momos. We're tying redfish flies. I'm a fishing guide down here in Louisiana for inshore fishing mostly. And I do fly fishing and regular rod and reel fishing, so I'm just tying some flies. All right, so after we get those shrimp eyes on there, I'm gonna flip it back over, and we're gonna add a little bit of shine to the fly. So grabbing a little bit of chartreuse right here, and I don't want much of this. I'm gonna grab like 2 strands of it, y'all. That's all you need, or maybe 3. We'll just grab these couple of strands right here. So I just got a couple of strands. I'm gonna cut that off. So I just got 3 little strands of chartreuse right here. And what we're gonna do, sorry y'all, I forgot to put my phone on do not disturb. Let me do that. I'm back, sorry. I'm using my phone, y'all. I tried to live stream earlier using my computer, and no one was watching. I get more views whenever yeah, so I've got feathers and stuff. Yeah, some of my flies look more natural. This right here it's kind of a shrimp imitation, kinda. I came up with it, so it's not super natural colors, but it works really well. So we're gonna grab the chartreuse right here, y'all, and right here where the thread's at, we're just gonna take this thread, or take this shiny, and I'm just gonna wrap it around the thread one time. I'm gonna hold it straight up just like this, out of the way, and I'm gonna get a couple of wraps on it, just to hold it in place. And then I'm gonna pull this down to the side of the fly, just like that, and wrap it so it stays in place, just like that. What's up, Tater? All right. Now we're gonna grab, this is like a little, almost a cross between like an orange and a peach color looking shiny stuff. And again, I'm only gonna get a couple of strands of this. I don't need much of it. If you look at the videos on my channel, one of my recent videos shows this fly in action. In fact, it's the first time right after I tied this fly, I took it out and used it. And the first redfish I caught on it was 40 inches long, so it definitely works. All right, so I'm just gonna grab a couple of strands of this right here. It's kind of like a little orange peach kind of color. Just 2 strands, all I need. And I'm gonna do the same thing I just did with that chartreuse color. I'm gonna wrap it around the thread right here one time. Pull it up out of the way. And get some wraps on it. Hold it down right here to the side of the fly. And then wrap it up. Just like that. So we're just adding a little bit of shine to that tail right there. And Vazuli, is that how you pronounce it? Probably Vazuli, I'm guessing. I'm guessing the X is like a Z. So we're gonna grab, you were asking about feathers. So I got a feather right here. What's up, David, Mr. David? All right, so I'm grabbing some pink feathers. This is a fly that I came up with a while back called, I call it the Fraggle Rock, y'all. Y'all remember that TV show back in the 80s, Fraggle Rock? It was like a Muppet show. Well, that's what this fly looks like when you get done with it. It looks like a Fraggle. All right, so I'm gonna grab 1 pink feather like this right here. And what I'm gonna do, y'all, this thick part of the feather, it don't really wrap that well. It's kind of thick, so we're just gonna cut that thick part off. So I just cut the thick part of the feather off. I'm gonna lay the feather on top of the hook, just like this right here. And get some wraps in it to hold it in place. Now I'm just going to pull this bobbin up out of the way right here, and we're going to take the feather and start wrapping it. And while you wrap it, you want to hold the material back towards the back of the hook. So it's going to start wrapping it from the back towards the front of the hook. Sam, yeah, man, I remember now. I remember. I used to call in the Stratocache almost every day when I was doing all those menu boards and stuff. All right, y'all, we're gonna grab these clippers right here and just clip them onto the thing and just run this around, going from the back of the fly towards the front of the fly. We might end up putting an extra feather on here. I used a little bit longer hook than I normally do on this fly. This is this hook is a big 2/0 hook. Most of my redfish flies that I tie down here, I'm either tying with a 2/0 or a 3/0 most of the time. I want a bigger hook for the big fish we catch. Yeah, y'all, let's throw one more little feather on there. I'll just grab a little one right here. Just to take up a little bit of space. The plumage is flying everywhere. I'm gonna move this out of the way. We'll wrap this feather And then we'll put the crack wrap on there, and that'll be about the end of this fly. It's a very simple fly to tie, but it works really well down here on these redfish. I accidentally dropped my tweezers, y'all. Dropped my tweezers. So I had a fly fishing. I'm not fly fishing. I had a last minute spinning rod charter yesterday. They booked me at like 6 o'clock the night before online, and they didn't want to fly fish. It was spinning rod, and the wind's been blowing down here a pretty good bit. So it's been a southern wind. So what happens in Louisiana when you get a northern wind? It pushes all the water out of the marsh, and when you get a southern wind, it pushes the water out of the Gulf and into the marsh. So we've been having a southern wind here lately, and so it's been pushing the water into the marsh. So yesterday the water was really high. We caught a lot of fish. We just didn't have a lot of big fish yesterday. All right, y'all. So we're gonna grab some crack wrap right here. That's what it's called. This is kind of like a pinkish orangey color, kind of like a peach color, I guess. Just gonna grab just a few inches of it right here. I'll probably tie 2 of these in a row, y'all. Oh, by the way, everybody watching, people ask about if I sell flies and stuff. So I did add the flies to my website, or you can buy them right here off my YouTube channel. So I did add flies. I'm going to be adding more. It took me a couple of hours the other day to add that to my website. I had to figure out how to put it on my website first, and then add it to my website. But I do have flies on my website now. So if you're gonna be if you fish for redfish with fly rods and stuff, or if you're gonna be coming to Louisiana, go in there and buy you some flies, man. And they don't cost very much, and I tie all the time, so it'll be cool. All right, y'all. After we get this crack wrap started, we're gonna wrap it just like we did the pink feather, the saddle hackle. I'm just wrapping it. I always wrap everything in the same direction. So we're just wrapping in the same direction that we wrapped the feather. Again, y'all, if y'all just joining, I call this fly the Fraggle Rock. As you can tell, this fly is having a bad hair day. So it looks like a Fraggle Rock. So that's what I call this fly, y'all. All right, we're gonna hold the little tag end out of the way right here. I'm gonna get a couple of wraps on it and then cut this tag end off. And then wrap it up. Go ahead, man. You'd be the first person. So the only other place I sell flies is I do a lot of fishing charters down here for it's basically a big bed and breakfast, except it's they cater a lot to fishermen and stuff, and I run a lot of charters for them, and I sell my flies there. But other than that, I just put them on my website the other day, and like I said, you can get them on YouTube also. All right, y'all. So after we wrap this up on here, we're getting ready to tie it off, and we'll be done with this fly. But I'm gonna tie another one like this, y'all. Basically, just so I can add them to my inventory. So we'll do one more like this right here. All right, so we're gonna grab the little tire offer thing. I don't remember what it's called. And just wrap it up. The same, now you can do the same thing that you do with this with your fingers. If you take your thread, my thread right here, you can wrap your fingers around the thread, make a little half hitch knot, just a little half hitch knot, and go over the eye of your fly. Just let it come off your fingers, and that's it. It's the same thing. You can do it like that, y'all. It just takes a while. So this right here does the same thing. It basically puts a bunch of little half hitch knots to tie off the fly is what we're doing. I'm gonna do it one more time. Kind of OCD about it. I don't want the fly coming apart when you start catching fish. And cut the little thread off. Now we'll add some glue right around this knot section right here to hold it. This is Solar Res glue. It dries with ultraviolet light. So we're just gonna add this Solar Res glue right around the thread right here, y'all. There we go. Now we'll take a ultraviolet light right here and shine on this glue, and it dries it within a few seconds. Okay. I'm going to trim back, not that it matters. I'm going to trim back a little bit of this pink right here. It don't really matter much. I'm just doing it to make the fly look a little neater. The fish aren't really going to care, but some fly fishermen want their fly to look, perfect, like AI made it or something. But the fish don't really care. I'm just cutting off. What I'm doing, I'm just cutting off some of these longer little feathers that are sticking out. All right, y'all. So there goes I call it the Fraggle Rock, everybody. It's got this one has a 2-aught hook on there. It's a saber hook. It's super strong. Put a orange lead eye on there. We added some deer tail right here for the tail. Threw some black stripes on it. Added a little chartreuse and like a little peach color shine on here. We added pink feather and some like a peach colored crack wrap. So there we go. We're about to do the same thing again. I'm gonna go ahead and tie another one real quick. Mostly to get rid of I've got one more of those shrimp eyes in that color. I'm just trying to get rid of it, honestly. All right, so again, it's a saber hook is what it's called. It's not some, so this saber hook it's a fly hook. It's made for saltwater. But there's a fly shop that I get them from. A super strong hook, but it's not like an Umpqua or something like that. One of those name brands where you're spending, $20 for 10 hooks or something. So, all right, y'all, we'll go ahead and throw this on the vise. I'm gonna grab an orange eye. I got a bunch of stuff, y'all. I actually, this morning when I left the gym, this morning, y'all, I ran to I ran by the fly shop and got a few supplies that I was out of. Oh, here they are right here. So I bought mostly some lead eyes and stuff this morning, y'all, that I was getting out of, I was running out of. All right. So we got the 2/0 hook right here on our vise. We're going to start off with a little bit of thread base, just right here, right below the eye of the hook right here. You do a thread base on here. You don't want your materials sliding all over the hook. So you put a little thread base on there like that. So we got a little thread base. Now we'll grab our eye. We're going to use, this is considered a large lead eye. I use the little bit heavier ones a lot of times because down here for these redfish and black drum, all that stuff we're catching down here in Louisiana, a lot of times when they're feeding, they're looking down. So when they're swimming around, they're looking down. So I want these flies to drop. I want the fly to get in front of the fish's face as fast as possible and strip it by them and hold on tight, basically. All right, y'all, we're going to set the eye on top of the hook, on top of our thread base right there. And I'm going to get a couple wraps. You're going under the hook and over the eye in one direction. But as you can tell, the eye is offset right now. So we're going to go the other direction with the thread to get it more, 90 degree with the hook. And after you get it lined up, which that one's pretty close. Yep. After you get it lined up, we're just going to start doing X wraps. So we're going under the hook, over the eye in one direction, then under the hook, over the eye in the opposite direction. You're making X's on top of the eyes right here. So that's basically it. You're just wrapping these eyes on top of the hook, y'all. God, it sounds like a freaking farm in here. The dogs are over here eating treats, and it sounds like a bunch of cows grazing. All right, y'all. After I do several wraps, I don't really have a set amount I do, but after I do enough to where I think it's going to stay, now we're going to wrap between the eye, like under the eye and over the hook. And what that's going to do is going to pull those X wraps tight. So we're going under the eye right here, over the hook, under the eye, over the hook. It's just pulling those X wraps really tight. Oops. I messed up on that one. With fly tying, y'all, if you mess up, it's usually not a big deal. All right. Now that we got those eyes on there, we're just going to put a thread base. We're just running thread down the hook right here. Get a thread base along the hook. And I usually go somewhere about, it don't have to be perfect, but somewhere around where the hook is right here. All right, now that we have the eyes on here, we're going to add that Solar Res glue again. And it's just you're gonna put it over the threads right here where you tied the eye on. It's gonna lock those eyes in place. When you start catching fish, you don't want the eye to start spinning all over the hook. So we're locking those in place. We're gonna grab ultraviolet light right here and hit those eyes with it to dry that glue. Yeah. If you're in the Boy Scouts, it's just like lashing two poles together is what you're doing. I mean, when you're putting the eyes on here, it's like lashing a couple poles together. You're exactly right. All right, y'all, we're gonna grab a deer tail right here. We're gonna take a little bit of the white off here. So we're just gonna pull a chunk of white, cut it off, and put that on here for our tail. So I've got some white right here. We're going to cut that off. Sorry, I've got materials falling all over the place. And after you get the deer tail, just hold it in your hand and just kind of lightly pull any strands that might come off. If you pull it too hard, you're going to pull the whole deer tail apart. So don't do that. Just kind of lightly pull any strands that might fall off there. And then we're going to set this on top of the hook. I know if y'all been watching from the beginning, y'all just saw me tie this fly, but we'll move on to a different fly next. I was just tying this one to get a couple in my inventory and then just to use up some of this material right here. All right, y'all, we're going to lay this on top of the hook and start wrapping it up. I usually get a couple of loose wraps to make sure
Lay down.
I've got it where I want it before I start wrapping it tighter. And once it's on there where I want it, then I go ahead and wrap it on up. Wrap it up, B. I know I say this all the time, but y'all remember the Chappelle show? Y'all remember that skit? Wrap it up, B. That's what we're doing, wrapping it up. All right, y'all. There's like a spare deer hair right there. All right, we're going to take a Sharpie and we're going to put some black stripes along the tail. When this tail is in the water, by the way, you see how it's all fanned out right here? So when it's in the water, it'll actually flow backwards and make a point when it's in the water. All right, so grab our Sharpie. And we're going to put some black stripes on the tail. All right, go somewhere, dog. Dog's sitting back here behind me just licking something, the floor, I think. I don't even know. All right, after we put those black stripes along the tail right here, I'm going to flip it over and we're going to add some shrimp eyes to it. They're called easy shrimp eyes, by the way, y'all. And this is the last red one I have, so that's another reason for tying these flies. That's right, man. That's right. I was too, man. What's bad is I actually did my, in fact, it's still at my grandma's house. I did my Eagle project. I went out and did the Eagle project, you know, wrote it all up, did everything, all the pictures, all the stuff like you normally do for your Eagle project. And I didn't turn it in time. I didn't turn it in before my 18th birthday. So although I did everything, I never got my Eagle Scout. All right, y'all. So now we're going to take the little V's, right, the little eyes right here, and we're going to split this hook with the V of these eyes. We're just going to lay them on top of the hook, get some wraps in it to hold it in place. Again, I always do a couple loose wraps just to make sure I got it where I want it. And then we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Just like that. So now we got the eyes on there. We got some little shrimp eyes on here. I'm going to take the Solar Res glue again. I'm not sponsored by them, by the way, but if there's anybody from Solar Res watching, y'all can sponsor me. All right. We're going to throw some glue over this thread right here. And then hit it with ultraviolet light. That's just to keep those eyes from flipping around or falling off when you start catching fish. All right, I'm gonna flip this back over. And just like we did a few minutes ago, that's right. So we're gonna grab some chartreuse. We're gonna grab just a couple of strands of it. A couple of strands of chartreuse. There we go. Well, this stuff is all over the place. All right, so I got a couple of strands of chartreuse right here. I'm gonna cut those off. You don't need much shine on here. That's the reason I'm only using 2 strands. You're gonna take this right here, wrap it around your thread one time, just like that. As you can see, it's around the thread. I'm gonna hold this up like this right here, and I'm gonna wrap a couple of times with my thread to hold it in place, and then pull it down to the side of the fly, just like that, and get some wraps on it to hold it in place, just like that. So not a lot of shine right there, but it's enough to work. Let's see. Yeah, I did my War of the Arrow, man. I did all that. I was on staff. So I'm from Georgia. There's a big Boy Scout camp there called Camp Thunder. I was on staff there one year. All right, we're gonna take this same. This is a different color. This is kind of like a peachy kind of orange color. Same thing. I'm grabbing 2 strands of it. I was on staff there for a summer camp one year. I taught all the outdoor stuff, all the camping, and I taught all that stuff, y'all. All right, now we're gonna same thing. Get that started, pull it down to the side, and wrap it up. And there we go. We got a little bit of shine along the tail right here. Then we're gonna grab some saddle hackle. I'm just getting 1 feather off of here, y'all. For now, I might end up using 2 on this hook. So, got a piece of saddle hackle right here. This thick part, we're just gonna cut off. Not gonna need that. So we got the pink feather. I'm gonna lay that on top of the fly right here. If I can get it to sit in my hand correctly. I'm gonna lay that on top of the fly and then wrap it up along the fly to hold it in place. All right, after we get that wrapped, I'm just gonna pull my bobbin up out of the way and just hang it off the front of my hook. Now we're gonna wrap this feather around the hook. So I'm just gonna clip it on with the clippers and start wrapping. And we're wrapping from the back, this side of the fly going towards the front, where the eyes are. Just like that. My clipper's come undone. Not a big deal. It happens all the time, y'all. Sometimes your clippers come undone. Just clip them back on and keep on rocking with it. Looks like I should only need this 1 feather on this one. Dang it, it slipped out of my hand. That's twice. Let's see how many more times I can accidentally let go of the feather. It happens. I got my clippers right here. I'll try to clip them back on and see if they stay this time. Alright. Now I'm going to hold this tag end out of the way. wrap around that tag in a couple of times. Cut that little bit of feather off, like that. And then go ahead and wrap the thread to make that feather stay on there. So there you go. Just like that. Fidel, that's hilarious, Fidel. All right. So now we're going to add our crack wrap to it. Got some crack wrap. Just going to take 2-3 inches of the crack wrap. Yep, this fly is going to work, man, since it slipped out of my hands a couple times tying it. All right, y'all, we're going to lay the crack wrap right here on top of the hook, get a few wraps on it to hold it in place, and then wrap the crack wrap. Going from the back of the fly towards the front of the fly, y'all. By the way, if you're just joining, I call this fly the Fraggle Rock because it looks kind of like a Fraggle from back in the day on the TV show. I'm gonna grab my clippers or whatever, my tweezer things, clip that to it. And just wrap it up. All right, while holding this little tag in out of the way, I'm gonna wrap the thread around here a couple times and cut that tag end off. All right, y'all. Now I'm just gonna wrap right here to make all that material stay on there. There you go. Got the Fraggle Rock almost done. The Fraggle Rock is almost complete. If y'all are new to the channel, please subscribe. And by the way, I started selling my flies. You can order them straight from my YouTube channel if you want to, or go to my website. But if you order them from the YouTube channel, that links to my website. So you can order flies, you can book a fishing trip with me, all of that. All right, y'all. We'll take this right here and tie this thing off. Those of you who don't know, I'm a fishing guide down here in Louisiana. I do both fly rod fishing and regular rod and reel fishing. So if y'all want to come to Louisiana and get on some redfish and speckled trout, black drum, everything else, y'all can book a trip with me. Right now, springtime, the fishing is good. The only thing with springtime is you get a lot of wind outside right now. It's supposed to be windy all week this week. So this week's not going to be very good because of the wind. Starting sometime around mid to late April, the wind will calm down, and it's a lot easier to book a trip without having to worry about the weather. All right, now we're just taking some of this solar res glue. We're just putting it around the thread where we tied it off, and gonna hit it with a ultraviolet light, y'all. Okay. Again, some of these longer pink feathers, I'm just going to trim back. I'm basically just making them kind of level with the that crack wrap. It looks pretty good right there. Hey, Mr. Arthur. Just tying some redfish flies in the middle of the day. Today is well, it's kind of calmed down now, but it was pouring down rain all day today. All right, y'all. So there is my Fraggle Rock. That's what I call it for redfish. Works great. If you look at my YouTube channel, you'll see some videos with that fly on there. And the first redfish I ever cast that fly to, I caught. He was 40 inches long. So. All right, y'all, let's move on to some different. I'm gonna clean up this little bit of material right here, y'all, and we're gonna tie some different flies right here. I'm just clean up the stuff that we use so I don't have the entire desk covered with stuff we're not gonna be using right now. All right, let's see. I'm about to tie some more, y'all. I'm just cleaning up some of this stuff we're not going to be using. To get it out of the way. Okay. All right, y'all. Let's go with a couple of Hopedale crab. The Hopedale crab is my favorite fly that I use down here. It's caught more fish and as far as me and on my charters than any other fly that we use down here. So let's go with the Hopedale crab, y'all. Or at least my version of the Hopedale crab. So we're gonna grab a 2/0 saber hook. Super strong hook. Go ahead and put this on the vise right here. We got a little bit of this deer tail left. We'll use that one. All right, and I'm going to go with a chartreuse lead eye on this one. So just grab some chartreuse lead eyes right here. We'll start wrapping it. All right, again, we're going to put a little bit of thread right below the eye of the hook right here, a little bit of a thread base. If it's y'all's first time watching, please subscribe. I'm trying to grow the channel, y'all. I've been doing YouTube a long time and still not making any money with it. So I would like to eventually. All right, so after we get a little bit of a thread base right here, we're going to take a chartreuse eye, a little chartreuse eye right here. Lay this over the hook, get a couple of wraps in one direction to get it started, a couple of wraps in the other direction. So what we're doing right now, we're getting the eye 90 degrees on the hook. So basically kind of like that. We're We're just getting it kind of 90 degrees on the hook, y'all. And once you get the eye on there kind of straight the way you want it, go ahead and start making X wraps. So we're gonna go under the hook with the thread and over the eye in one direction, then under the hook and over the eye in the other direction. And you're just lashing, lashing. You're basically just lashing the eye onto the hook. Y'all, I can't see whatever message y'all are typing right there because it's saying it's being held for review, so YouTube probably don't like whatever it is you're saying. I'm just letting you know. All right, now we're going under the eye and over the hook, y'all. Gotcha, Stancy, gotcha. All right, we should have those eyes cinched down pretty good. So we're gonna go ahead and run the thread down the hook. Just get a thread base on there. Good night. Are you on the other side of the world, Stancy? It's in the middle of the afternoon here in Louisiana. Oh, India. Gotcha. Man, I get a lot of people from India watching, which is cool, But a lot of people from India watch the channel. All right, we're gonna put some glue over these eyes right here. Just to hold these eyes in place. Thank you, Stancy. Thank you, thank you. I've got some other glue right here, y'all, somewhere. If I can find it. I don't even know where it's at. Oh, here it is. I've got some other glue right here. I'm going to hit this stuff with y'all. This is also ultra. I have it in a plastic bag because it leaks sometimes for whatever reason. This is also glue that dries with ultraviolet light. I'm just going to put a little bit of extra on these eyes right here. Just like that. I'm going to hit that glue with the ultraviolet light. It'll dry it within like 10 or 12 seconds. Y'all might not be able to see it, but down here, I can actually see the smoke come up when the light hits the glue. It dries it that fast. All right. So what I'm tying right here, y'all, is called a Hopedale crab. Hopedale is just a part of Louisiana. It's pretty popular for fishing. And someone came up with a fly pattern called a Hopedale crab, and it's actually my favorite pattern down here as far as catching redfish. So I'm gonna grab a little bit of chunk. This is like an olive colored deer tail. So I'm just grabbing a chunk of that. So I've got some olive colored deer tail right here. Just gonna lay this on top of the fly and get some wraps in it. After I get it started pretty good, I'm just gonna wrap it up. Okay. Okay. Just like we did the other one, I like putting black stripes on the tail of this one right here. So we're gonna take a Sharpie and put some black stripes on here, y'all. I don't do that with all the flies, but I do it with quite a few of them. I like breaking up that tail a little bit. Just make it look more natural, I guess. All right. And when this is in the water, all this will flow backwards into a point, y'all. This tail will kind of flow backwards in the water. All right, we're going to add a little chartreuse to this tail right here and a little gold. So I'm going to take the chartreuse. It's just going to add a little bit of flash to the tail, just to help the fish find it better. So I got about 3 strands of chartreuse right here. I'm going to take those, wrap them around the eye of the thread one time, hold them up right here out of the way. And then wrap them. And then I'm going to pull them down to the side of the fly right here, just like that. And get some more wraps in them to hold them in place, just like that. So just added a little bit of chartreuse. If you get one side that's like too long or something, you can just cut a little bit of it off. I'm just kind of making it about even with the tail right there, as long as the tail is. Just like that. Now I'm going to add a little bit of gold also. I bought some brand new gold today that I want to try. It's just made by No Wake Outfitters. It's a local fly fishing shop here. I ran by there this morning and picked up a few supplies that I was running. I was either out of or running low on. All right, y'all. So we're gonna take some gold flash, and the same thing we just did with the chartreuse. I'm just gonna grab a couple of strands of this gold flash right here. I think that's 3 strands right there. Yeah. So I've got about 3 strands of the gold. I'm just going to cut that off. Just like that. So I got 3 strands of gold. If y'all are new to the channel, y'all please subscribe. I'm trying to grow the channel. And by the way, I'm selling flies now. You can buy flies straight from my channel, y'all. All right, we're going to wrap that around just like we did. Just like we did with the chartreuse color. We're going to wrap that around the thread, hold it up out of the way right here, get a couple of wraps on it to hold it in place, pull it down to the side of the fly, and then wrap it up again, just like that. So we added a little bit of gold and a little bit of chartreuse flash to the tail right there is all we were doing, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. It says I got 41 people watching right now. Thank y'all. All right, now we're going to add some body to the fly. We've got our hook, we got our lead eyes, we got our tail, we add a little flash. Now we need some body on this fly. So I got to find it real quick, y'all. We're going to need this in a few minutes. Y'all, I've got supplies laying. I mean, they're all in a drawer right here. But I've got so much stuff. Here it is. I found it. Sorry, y'all. It took forever to find that. What's up, Paxton? Sorry, y'all. Had to find the my supplies. If you've ever tied flies, you know how it is. You get stuff everywhere. I mean, maybe some of y'all are like super perfect and everything's in order, but as soon as I start tying flies, everything just gets out of whack. All right, so we grabbed some EP brush, is what it's called. There's actually, you might can see it if I do that. There's a wire running down through this stuff. So what we're going to do, we're just going to cut off, not much, a couple of inches of it. This stuff is really thick. So we cut off a couple of inches of the EP brush. We're going to lay this on the hook right here and get some wraps in it to get it started. And now we're going to wrap the EP brush around the hook. And what you want to do, like I said, there's a wire running down through here. We're going to fold this stuff backwards along the wire towards the back of the fly as we wrap it. So as we wrap, I'm just folding the material back. This material is pretty thick, so what it's going to do is adding some thickness, some body to the fly. So it's going to help the fish find the fly. So what's going to happen is when you're stripping this, when you're pulling this fly through the water, it's going to be moving water. And fish have sensors on them where they can sense movement. So they're going to be able to find this fly better because this stuff is so thick. All right. I'm just getting a couple of wraps to hold it in place. I'll cut off that tag end. And wrap it up. Just like that. So I'm tying, this is, I'm a fishing guide in Louisiana for, inshore, like redfish, speckled trout, all that stuff. So I'm just tying a bunch of redfish flies. But now, I mean, you know how it is, bass would probably hit a lot of the same stuff right here that I'm tying for redfish. I'm just going to grab a toothbrush, y'all, and kind of brush this stuff back, just like that. All right, now we're going to add some wrap to the front of it right here. And it's going to give it a little bit of shine and a little more action. So just grabbing some wrap. This is like an olive color. It's got some gold and some purple strands in it. That's right, man. Redfish and bass are a lot alike. That's why, so I grew up in Georgia bass fishing. So when I moved down here, when I first came to Louisiana and started fishing for redfish, I picked it up pretty quick because it's a lot like bass fishing, man. They're both aggressive. You can use a lot of same lures on them. And so I picked it up pretty quick. And I don't just fly fish for them. I do conventional, rod and reel also, but I do both. So I'm a fishing guy down here. I have a poling skiff for fly fishing, and then I have a bay boat for the regular rod and reel stuff. All right, y'all. After we get this wrap started, we're going to start wrapping it up while keeping the material pushed back towards the back of the fly. We're just going to wrap it up, y'all. In fact, I'm about to clip this stuff with my clipper. The little tweezers right here to hold on to it better. And then wrap it on up, y'all. We're basically trying to make this fly have a bad hair day, is what we're doing. We're giving it some body and some flash. Like that right there. Now I'm just going to hold the tag end out of the way. Get a couple of wraps on it. Cut the tag end off. Let's see. Yeah, I have. So today it was supposed to. Earlier today it was like dark outside. It was pouring down rain, like really bad thunderstorms. So I couldn't do anything else anyway. So I figured I'd tie a bunch of flies. I had a charter yesterday. It was a last minute charter. It wasn't a fly charter. It was a regular rod and reel charter. They booked me online the night before. Just a last minute charter, and we caught a lot of fish. But we've been having a southern wind down here right now, which has been pushing water from the Gulf into the marsh. So the water was really high. So we caught a lot of fish. We just didn't have a lot of big fish yesterday. We had some big fish, just not a lot of them. Then they lost a couple of really big ones where they hooked into them and pulled the drag out and the fish was gone. All right, after we do that, we're gonna get a few wraps right here. We're gonna tie this fly off. Thank y'all for joining. Everybody that's watching me tie flies right here in the middle of the day. If you want to buy some redfish flies, you can do it straight from my YouTube channel right here. If you go to the home page of my channel, you can buy some flies right there. I'm adding more to it. I just put the store on my YouTube channel 2 days ago, I guess. I added the store to my website, and then I added it to my YouTube channel. All right, y'all. Now we're gonna put some glue around that thread right there, where we just tied the knot in. You don't want your knots. You don't want your fly falling apart when you start catching fish on it. And down here in Louisiana, we have some gigantic redfish. We catch 20 plus pounders all the time. If you check out my YouTube channel, look at the videos on there, you'll see a bunch of giant redfish on there, y'all. All right, we're gonna hit that glue with the ultraviolet light. It's gonna dry that glue up. I'm just gonna take and see. I wonder how other fly materials that are often that's tied solid to push more water. Partially tied bucktail. Yeah, that's true, man. That is true. Some of my flies I throw aren't as thick, and some of them are, man. There you go, y'all. Little Hopedale crab is what it's called, what they call it. That's just my version of it. It's like an olive color, kind of like a natural color fly. Deer tail right here, through some black stripes on the deer tail, a little bit of chartreuse and a little bit of gold flash, some EP brush for the body, and then some, it's basically like crack wrap, some wrap right there around the front. Of course, when this is in the water, this will lay backwards, you know, it'll just flow backwards. There we go, y'all. Another fly. And while we have the stuff out for that, I'm just going to go ahead and tie another one of those. So if you missed it, I'm about to tie another one. So going to take the olive colored deer tail. That's going to be the main body. Let me grab my hook. Just a 2/0 saber fly hook right here, y'all. Super strong hook. It's not an Umpqua. I mean, I've got Umpquas too, but I've got a lot of brands, but this one right here is super strong. 2/0. We'll start with that, y'all. All right. Ooh, I'm getting low on my black thread. Might swap that out real quick. I'll just use this. This is waxed. I use both. I use wax and regular. This was regular, but I'll use wax. I've used wax more than anything else. So I'm gonna grab some black waxed thread right here, y'all. And we will put it on the bobbin. So to do that, the bobbin just has those little things in there to hold the thread. So we got thread on the bobbin like this. Now you got this little wire right here. We're going to push it down through here. Just like that. We're going to put the thread through the little gap on that wire. And once that's through there, we're just going to pull the thread through there, just like that. So we are set. Our bobbin's set. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and put some thread. We're going to start wrapping some thread, a little bit of a thread base right below the eye of our hook right here. Cut that off, cut off our little tag end. Then we're going to take a chartreuse eye right here, y'all. And this is, I guess, considered a large eye. I want my flies to drop down and get in front of the fish's face pretty fast whenever we put it in front of those redfish. All right, we're going to get the eye started. A couple of wraps in one direction. Get some wraps in the other direction. Kind of get the eye started on here pretty good. I don't have a full room. I've got I've got like this plastic drawer thing that can push around. It is, man. So I got this plastic drawer thing, and I got 4 drawers in it, and they're all full. And I'll organize it. It'll be nice and neat. I'll tie flies once, and everything's destroyed. So, yeah. I mean, so in fact, I went to the fly shop today to pick up some more lead eyes as I was out of, and some more flash. And I had to leave. You know, I can't if I sit there, I'll spend a fortune just in fly time materials. So I bought just what I was out of today and left. Because you know how it is. You get there and you start buying tons of material. So I bought only what I needed. I was good today. I didn't go in there and get all jiggy with it. All right, y'all. So we're doing X wraps. What we're doing, we're wrapping under the hook, going over the eye in one direction, under the hook, going over the eye in the other direction. I don't have a set amount I do. I just kind of do it so I think it's good. And then we're going to go to cinch these down. I'm going to go under the eye and over the hook. So I'm going under the eye, over the hook, under the eye, over the hook. And that's just cinching those little X wraps down. It's pulling those X wraps really tight. And after that, we're going to go ahead and run a thread base. Run a thread base down the base of the hook. One thing I can tell with waxed thread, I don't know if it's the same way with U-boon. Waxed thread to me breaks easier than the regular thread. So when you're wrapping, sometimes when you accidentally hit the tip of your hook or something like that, it can break that thread. My accent, I'm from Georgia, y'all. I'm a fishing guide in Louisiana, but I'm from Georgia. I think I sound like a goofball on camera. Actually, I got a YouTube channel, but I think I sound kind of weird on camera. I've done a few TV shows. You can probably go look them up. A couple of fishing shows, and I think I sound weird on camera. One of the TV shows, if you go to okay, gotcha. So if you go to Waypoint TV, I don't know if y'all have that in the UK or not, but Waypoint TV on your smart TVs, Waypoint TV is like a free hunting and fishing channel. If you go on there and look up, go to saltwater fishing on Waypoint TV, and then there's a series on there called Louisiana Catch and Cook. I think I'm on episode 2 maybe of that, where I took a couple of chefs out for fishing, and then they they cooked everything they caught. It's called Louisiana Catch and Cook. So I did that. So you can look that up on Waypoint TV. You can also, I think it's online also. You can watch it online, I think. All right, y'all. So now we put some glue that dries with UV light on those, over the thread on those eyes. I'm just hitting it with a UV light, y'all, to dry that glue. And then there's another show I know you can look up online. It's called, I don't know if the show is still on air or not, but I think you can find it online. It's called Louisiana Outdoor Adventures TV. So Louisiana Outdoor Adventures TV, as far as I know, we filmed 2 episodes, but I think they only aired 1 maybe. But there's a speckled trout fishing show on there that I took those guys out on. All right, y'all, we're gonna take some olive deer tail right here, and we're just gonna take a little chunk of olive deer tail. But yeah, I think my accent sounds weird on camera, although I have a YouTube channel and I'm always filming. All right, we're going to take this olive deer tail. I'm just pulling any loose strands that might pop off there. We're going to set it right here on top of the fly and wrap it up. That wasn't my best wrap job ever. I messed that one up a little bit, but it'll be fine. All this flows backwards anyway when it's in the water. I'm just going to cut these little loose hairs off right there. Not that it matters. It don't really matter. All right, we're going to take some black. We're going to take a black Sharpie. Have you tried frog legs? They're more available down south. That's funny. Yeah, man, I've ate frog legs, and they really do, like everybody says, they taste like chicken. I don't like go out and I don't like go out and be like, oh, I'm going to go eat some frog legs. But I have had frog legs before. But down here in Louisiana right now, it's crawfish season. So, a lot of people are eating crawfish right now, I do not like how that tail. Yeah, I don't like how that. Let me unwrap that some, y'all. I don't like how that tail right there is turning out. It's sticking up a little bit too much. I just don't like how that turned out. I don't normally unwrap my flies, but I just don't like how that one right there was sticking up that much. All right. We will rewrap this tail on there. Thank you, Laley. Thank you. We're going to rewrap this tail on there, y'all. Y'all, I got fishing videos too. If you look at my channel, I've got like 500 and something. Y'all, this chunk of deer tail is not acting right. Let me grab another chunk. For some reason, that one is just not wanting to do right. So we're gonna grab another chunk of deer tail, y'all. That one just did not act right. But I got 500 and something videos on my channel, everybody. Both fly rod, fly fishing, both fly fishing and regular rod and reel fishing. And we catch a lot of giants, y'all, so you ought to check my channel out and watch some of those videos. All right, let's see if this one wraps on here the correct way. The last one just did not wrap on the fly very well. My string broke. It doesn't. That happens sometimes, y'all. Especially with this wax thread. It's not a big deal. You just restart it. So basically, we're gonna put this little wire down through the bobbin right here. Take the thread. Put through the little wire thing, Okay. Once we have it through there, let's go ahead and pull it through the bobbin. So if your thread breaks like that, it's not a big deal, y'all. Just restart your thread. Not going to hurt anything at all. It happens all the time if you tie flies. And you just wrap over the thread that you just broke. It broke again. There might be something wrong with that thread. Let me grab some different black thread right here, y'all. I apologize about that. I don't know why the thread keeps breaking, but I got plenty of thread right here. And by the way, y'all, I tried to live stream earlier today. Mr. Rob, we're tying flies, tying redfish flies. I just had my thread break, so fixing that real quick. I tried to live stream earlier today, y'all, because right now I'm just using my phone. And I was going to do it on my computer so I can make it all fancy for y'all. And no one ever watches when I use my computer. For some reason, people like the vertical. I guess because maybe people are sitting at work or sitting wherever, and so it seems like they watch it more with the vertical than they do the horizontal. All right, y'all. We're going to add some black stripes. To the tail right here. With a black Sharpie. Just like that. Now when this tail is in the water, it will flow backwards and make a point, by the way. I know right now it's kind of all over the place, but when it's in the water, it'll flow backwards into a nice point. All right, we're going to add a little bit of color to that tail. So I'm going to grab some chartreuse flash right here. Grab a couple of strands of chartreuse. We're going to wrap that around the thread one time, just like that. Pull it up over the top of the fly. Get a couple of wraps in it to hold it in place. And then we're just going to pull it down. Hold on, y'all. It slipped out of my hand. We probably need to eat. All right, y'all. There we go. Right there. Now we're going to take some gold and do the same thing. Got some gold flash right here. So I got about 3 strands of gold. We're going to do the same thing with the gold. So we just add a little bit of gold and a little bit of chartreuse to our tail right there, y'all. Now I'm gonna grab some EP brush. Amanda, do something. So we're gonna grab some EP brush right here, y'all, and cut off a couple of inches of the EP brush. This is probably the last fly I tie for now, y'all. We've been tying for about an hour and a half, and we'll probably go live again tonight. I just thought I would tie because it was pouring down rain earlier. By the way, y'all, this EP brush, you can see the wire going through the middle of it. So we're gonna get this started on the fly. Like that. And then we're gonna wrap this EP brush around while folding it backwards over that wire, y'all. We're gonna wrap it around the fly. All right. I'm going to take this little bit of a tag end right here. Cut this little bit of a tag end off. And then wrap that up really good to hold it onto the hook. Like that. Just taking a toothbrush and brushing this back a little bit. I'm going to cut off some of these little strands right here. Now we're going to add some, it's not crack wrap, but it's just like crack wrap. It's just a little bit longer. We're going to add some wrap. I can't remember what it's called. We're going to add it to the front of the fly. And that'll be that for that fly, y'all. All right, now let's go ahead and wrap this around the fly. And everybody's watching, thank y'all very much for watching. I'm trying to grow my channel, which I guess all YouTubers are always trying to grow their channel, but I've been doing videos now for years, and but it just hadn't taken off yet. I'm trying to get the channel on out there. It seems like though, since I started tying flies like this, a lot of y'all watch me tie flies, which is cool. I'm glad y'all do. So I appreciate that very much. All right, y'all, we're just wrapping this wrap around the fly right here. We're basically trying to make it, just like I said earlier, we're trying to make it look like it's having a bad hair day, y'all. That's what we're doing. Cut the tag end off right here. And wrap it up. And we are almost done with the fly, everybody. And as far as time, how long it takes and stuff like that, when I'm sitting here on camera talking and everything and telling fishing stories and whatever, it takes a little while. But if I'm just sitting here tying a bunch of flies, I'll put some music on or I'll listen to like a YouTube video or something, and you can really tie a bunch of flies pretty quick if you get into the groove of it, you know. All right, y'all, let's tie this off. We'll tie this off. We'll put some glue around the wraps, and that'll be that. One more time. I just don't like my fly falling apart. Okay. Let's add some glue around this thread right here. This glue is called Solar Res. It dries with an ultraviolet light. So we got some glue around the thread where we just tied it off. Now we're gonna take a ultraviolet flashlight right here. Shine on that thread or on that glue where we just tied everything off. And that is about the end of that fly, y'all. Quick and easy. It's called a Hopedale crab. That's just my version of it. It's my most fish catching this fly that I use down here in Louisiana for redfish and all, y'all. That's basically the end of that fly, everybody. If y'all were just joining, earlier we tied the Fraggle Rock. It's a fly that I came up with a while back. It works really well. That's the Fraggle Rock. We tied it earlier, y'all. It looks like a Fraggle, you know, from the Muppets. So I call it the Fraggle Rock. All right, y'all, we tied about 4 flies on stream. I'll probably go live again tonight. Thank y'all for watching. Please subscribe. You can buy my flies nowadays on my YouTube channel. If you go to my YouTube channel, there's a store page right there because people were asking about buying them, so I added them to my YouTube channel. So that's it, everybody. My dogs are getting restless, so I'm gonna call it for now. Thank y'all.